Today I'm going to show you guys exactly how to design a $2,000 t-shirt using Photoshop. I'm going to walk you guys through this whole process, so let's go ahead and get locked in. Introduce a new file. So I'm going to go with 3,500 in terms of width and then 2,500 in terms of height at a resolution of no less than 300 dpi. Next I'm going to go ahead and grab my artboard tool or press V as a shortcut and just create an artboard following this, because I'm gonna go ahead and change colors if I have to. Having artboards is really efficient. So this is the shirt we're gonna be designing something similar to. We're gonna leave out the 3D side of this and just focus on the first plane. First thing you wanna do is introduce some text. So just press T on your keyboard and then you wanna go ahead and add your text. Now the text I'm gonna be using is marine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use caps lock and just put in my brand name. Perfect. Let's go ahead and make this much larger than it is. And then next, I'm gonna go ahead and play with the actual spacing of the type. Just make it a bit larger because we want to cut out each individual letter. Go ahead and convert this into a smart object. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and use the magic wand tool, select whatever we need to cut out or first letter, right click, and then go layer via copy. And that's gonna make a duplicate of your letter. Go ahead and repeat this step for every single letter within the font. Next, we're gonna go ahead and group all this. So just select it all by selecting one, hold shift, select the top one, and it will select everything in between that. Press Command G to group that, make it a bit larger, and then we're gonna go into that group and then start arranging our font how we see fit. Now remember, you don't have to abide by design rules because we're going ahead and making a graffiti font. Somebody was in my comments in one of the last videos talking about you don't know basic design rules. Buddy, I spent 4 years in design university. I just don't care. Plus, you want this to have a bit of personality, and if you're too focused on design rules, you never actually get to design anything. Like, rules are meant to be broken. That's why one of the greatest designers like David Carson around, because he doesn't abide by design rules. So now that we are up to this stage, we're gonna go ahead and head into the blending options. So right click your group, go into your blending options, and now this is where you add some effects. Let's go ahead and look at the referencing. You can see a gradient instead of a color. So we're gonna start off by using a gradient overlay, and let's go ahead and play with these colors. Looking at the reference, it's a 2-color overlay mainly. So there's orange, and then there's red, and then there's yellow, which makes an orange, I guess, ombre effect. Yellow, and then I'm gonna use red on this top one right here. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just going back and forth with the reference to see how far this blend is. And now we're going to go ahead and add in an inner shadow. Now this inner shadow is basically meant to mimic the airbrush effect on each letter. You can see it here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I might use a deeper red actually, because it will stand out a bit more against the yellow. And then you guys can go ahead and just copy these settings that I have on here, which kind of mimic this certain look. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add an outer glow. I'm going to add a bit of noise actually, change the size a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and drop down the range. Perfect. And now you can see it coming together in certain look. They have like a blue 3D effect. Again, we're not going to be adding the 3D effect because that just adds another level of complicity, which I might do later on in a different video. Let's go ahead and press OK. Now our design should be up to this phase. Next, you want to go ahead and introduce a layer on top of that and go in with a soft brush. It can be any sort of brush, but in terms of this, I'm going to be using the general brushes and use a soft round brush. You want to keep the size relatively small. And then I'm going ahead and using a drawing tablet. The reason why I'm using a drawing tablet is because it allows you to use pressure sensitivity in your graphics. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of smoothing, about 50%, and start tracing each individual letter. Again, be as free with this as possible, because you want this to have a certain graffiti look and you want it to be authentic to the graffiti identity. So don't be too strict on yourself and go over some lines, add a bit of character within the font. Next, we're going to go ahead and add another layer, but we're going to drop it underneath the layer that we have just drawn on for our line work. And now this is going to be our shadows. So drop down the sizing, add a white, and then this flow, we're going to go ahead and drop this down a bit. Perfect. Might add a bit of size. I'm going to turn off the smoothing. There we go. Next, I'm going to go ahead and drop this down even further. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another layer on top. Now this is going to be our highlight. So it's going to be the little stars that you do. So that's just this motion literally to get a star. So one down, one across again, one across again. And now you have a star. And don't forget to play with the different sizing, so smaller and larger. And then add in some details in certain areas. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add a layer underneath. And this time I'm going to be using the Wave and Water brush set. And I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Cloud 1 brush. And I'm going to go ahead and use a blue. It's like clouds, basically. That's what it creates. Using that Cloud 1 brush. Actually, I might just use pink. But the good thing about Photoshop, if you don't like your colors, you can go ahead and just go into blending options, color overlay, and just switch whatever color you want. I'm going to add another layer on top, and this time I'm going to go in with one of the same brushes. I might switch the smoothing off. I basically want to add some by text that says never perfect on this new layer. I don't know if I like the lining, but if I don't like it, I can just delete it. I might try it without lining. Maybe add an outer glow and make it pink. Okay, that worked a lot better. Went into the blending options, added an outer glow and just changed it to pink instead of lining it myself. And it turned out a lot better. But this color, should I keep it white? I think keeping it white is the move. I really like how they have this here, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. I'm gonna go ahead and add in our logo as a smart object or as a PNG. And then I'm going to use the move tool to make duplicates of it around this font that we've created. Next, I'm going to go ahead and group everything. And then blending options, I'm going to go ahead and change that color to a white. Forgot one, but we're just going to delete it because we can just make a duplicate. Convert that into a smart object and then go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Lovely. Might make a duplicate of our original group for our letters. Convert this into a smart object, and now Photoshop for some reason rasterizes how your blend looks like. So keep that in mind before you rasterize, but you can always go into the gradients and then make adjustments as you see fit. So it will rasterize to what this looks like. So not what you're seeing here, what this map looks like right here. As you can see, it did it. Where's our group of letters? So the group of letters we just created, we're gonna drop that all the way down and create a clipping mask on our converted smart object. The blending options didn't work, so I'm just gonna go, the actual blend didn't work, so I'm just gonna go into the blending options and just change the color overlay. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and group everything. And make a duplicate of it. Convert that one into a smart object and then go ahead and warp it. Lovely. I'm gonna go ahead and change this artboard to like a black just to see what our graphics is looking like. It's looking good. Everything is looking nice and spiffy. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the tech pack update for 2024 only on the Designedbywil Patreon though, by the way. So make sure you hit the Designedbywil Patreon if you want access to that. At the end of this 30 days, I'm going to go ahead and update this with about 20 more techs. So they're going to be added to this, and then I might drop this to the public. But for now, it's only the design team and the studio team. So I'm just going to use this t-shirt, because I had somebody actually posted a photo of it and how it's placed. So we're gonna copy this placement, add our design in here. For this tech pack, I'm gonna go ahead and just use the live paint bucket tool within Illustrator, set the color to white, and then just go to town and start coloring this bad boy. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate these texts, and then object expand until they're all expanded into shapes, and then make a clipping mask. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this back, arrange, bring to front, and then make clipping mask. And now we have a clipping mask of our graphic. I use the alignment tools to make sure everything's aligned. And to take this even one step further, you can go ahead and duplicate these technicals again. Turn off the fill, arrange, and then bring it to front. And then use the alignment tools to align these once again. And now it looks a bit more realistic because it shows where the print lines are for the manufacturer to follow. And now you have a complete design and a complete mock-up of a $2,000 t-shirt. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Peace.